Well, how's everybody doing? Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. It's been a minute since I posted. Hey, pretty excited to get some new stuff up. I'm up at the layout and I'm only gonna be here for a day. Gonna try to do some work on it, get some stuff updated. But really the main reason I came up, well, you see that box up there. Really want to get this thing open and have a little run session with it. Super excited. I ordered this over a year ago through our buddies Dave and George over at Uncle Ray's Trains in Sheffield Lake, Ohio. Hey guys, I'm actually doing a little bit of a voice overlay right now. For some reason my camera went to slow-mo, so I apologize for the slight flickering on the video. It only lasts for a couple minutes. But yeah, I was really excited to finally get this thing in, get the call from Dave that this had come in. You know, I usually order most of my locomotives secondhand. I usually like to buy them pre-owned. I feel like I got a pretty good eye for finding the ones that have seen an easy life or have low miles, low time. But another item I got from an estate sale, picked up this Lionel Legacy SD40. It's a really nice unit. Got it in a estate sale. No box for this one, but did get it on the layout. And man, I tell you, it runs absolutely amazing. And only missing, it doesn't have a box, but it was also missing the rear handrail and the strangely the front side rail on the conductor side of the short hood. So I'll have to source those from Lionel. It seems that unlike MTH, they sell their handrails as one with the actual shell itself. So I'll get on that. But boy, I tell you, I put this thing at the head of the train and got it into my TMCC unit because I haven't hit the $1.5 billion Mega Millions, so I can't afford a Legacy 990 system. There you see me telling you that the railings are missing on both sides there. But yeah, it performed absolutely flawlessly. And you know, my affinity for Southern Pacific is something that anybody that's seen the channel knows. I really love Southern Pacific. To be honest, not crazy about the daylight scheme that they put on some of their diesels back in the 80s. But I thought this one was too good of a deal to pass up, and I really do like the Lionel product. That thing is a smooth runner. Real happy to have it in the collection. Probably nothing, something that I will keep for a good long while. Like I said, just get a couple of those handrails on there, and she'll be good to go. Probably do a little review on that one, you know, sometime in the not too distant future. Because it really does run, sound, look so nice. It really has much the same look as the Atlas Master SD40. And you know, I'm not going to go so far as to say maybe they shared tooling, but you know, because that one does have the kinetic pilots and the quick remove trucks. But boy, it looks a lot like an Atlas SD40 unit. But enough of my yapping about the other stuff. The main reason for this video is for this new MTH product. So why don't we get a closer look at this guy, and I'll compare it to some of my other units as well. Well, I tell you guys, I usually buy my locomotives on the secondhand market, primarily because I'm cheap and sort of, I guess, on a secondary level, I sort of really enjoy the hunt. And we all know how addictive and financially painful this hobby can become if we're not careful. So it's rare, hang tight, it's rare that I buy them brand new. But I do have some on order, and it takes forever to get these things in. So I've been waiting, like I said, I've been waiting over a year for this one. I'm really excited, so I don't really want to wait too much. I can't wait to see this thing. Can't wait to show it to you guys, share it with you. This is one of my all-time favorite locomotives. And for those of you that follow the channel, you know, my all-time favorite locomotive is probably is probably the SD45 tunnel motor, and I've made that known in the past. But boy, I tell you, I think a lot of people in the community that have this same sentiment. You know, there's a manufacturer, a U.S. manufacturer of diesels that's no longer with us as a company. They went out of business shortly before I was born, and strangely, I don't know what it is. I don't know why this is for me personally. I think it's because one of my favorite aspects of trains is just it's the noise and the power that they create. Just that thunder, you know, when you're standing railside and you hear these things, you know, thundering down on you. It's just a visceral experience, and it really has always moved me. And you know, the prime movers that have always been one of my favorites are Alco prime movers. They just sound so incredible. So I was thrilled when MTH did the most recent run of the 628 and 630 models. The big 6 axles. Near the pinnacle of Alco, you know, diesel horsepower, back before the horsepower wars had really gotten going. You know, this was their answer, and in some ways, I think Alco was kind of ahead of the curve. This thing, when it came out as the 628, a 2800 horsepower unit, which was quickly updated to the 630. Which is what we have here. This is a 630. So this would have been a 3,000 horsepower variant. Sorry, I just bumped the camera, guys. And the ultimate variant was the 636, the C636, which had 3,600 horsepower, same as an SD45 of its day. When Conrail was formed, Penn Central, Reading, and Lehigh Valley all had 628s and 630s. And I do believe there was 1 or 2 636s possibly owned by Penn Central. I'd have to look that up. I'll put that info on the screen really quick. To my knowledge, there's only one 636 left in existence, and it's actually not an Alco version. It's a Montreal Locomotive Works, the Canadian variant of Alco, and that guy runs on the Delaware Lackawanna up outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania, which they have a couple of the big six axle Alcos, but I'm telling you, this thing looks the part. God, I love the way it looks. Such a cool locomotive, and you know, Southern Pacific's one of my favorite road names. One of the fallen flags. You know, it's merged with Denver and Rio Grande and ultimately became a part of Union Pacific. So I don't know if there's any there's a couple old patched, I think, GP60 Jeeps that are still running around in Southern Pacific livery. They're looking pretty rough this day and age, but man, this thing is incredible looking. And it's pretty prototypically correct. This is a, you know, Rail King scale, which this is the old Weaver tooling that MTH ended up with, and I think has improved upon dramatically. The Weaver units didn't have the big scale size fuel tank, and one of the things I love about these guys is this big old fuel tank on them. That big old circular Alco fuel tank, it just looks the part. You know, you got your single air compressor reservoir on the conductor side, and on the engineer side, you got a dual reservoir air tanks. But man, this thing looks great. Got the extra vents and whatnot over here. Not to kind of I was going to kind of hold it as a little bit of a surprise, but I actually wanted to show side by side so it's easy for you guys to see. the difference between the 630 and the 628 in terms of how MTH has modeled it. Now, in real life, and I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can see them side by side after I show you the models. I think the tooling was done in such a way that it was really easier and thus more cost effective for them, i.e. cheaper for them, which may or may not have contributed to a better affordability factor for us moderators. Probably not. We probably still got screwed. But I've got a 628 right here that I'm going to be running this guy with. I put them side by side. The 628 is not as prototypical as the 630, and I'm going to try and get this into the screen here so you guys can see them both. Let me see if I can get them adjusted so it's easy to see. The big difference between the two, if you look, the 630 is definitely more accurate in terms of what it looks like on the top, the different details on the top. All of this up here, if I'm not mistaken, is where the dynamic braking lives. And you'll notice the 630 has these dual grates right here, you know, vent screens and intakes. Over here on the 628, they've gone with a little bit sort of, I don't know, a little bit lesser, I guess, for lack of a better word, a little bit lesser of an intake. And, you know, this isn't necessarily prototypically correct. If you look across the top of the long hood, you'll see all the different venting and hard angles and stuff that protrudes. On a real 628, these guys were pretty smooth. There really wasn't a whole lot going on. So a little bit different. I think, like I said, I think it makes it easy for them to tool just this little spot up here. And I hear Luna throwing around her toy up there. But hey, for me, no big deal either way. The units themselves should be darn close to the same exact length, and they appear to be just that. Interestingly enough, this 628, which I believe was a 2014 run, I'll look that up and put it on the screen, but it's a slightly, it probably isn't showing up on the camera, but slightly different shade of gray. This would be the dark lark gray that Southern Pacific used, and this has just got maybe a little bit more black in it, a little bit lighter gray. Not a problem, I don't care either way. But yeah, we're gonna be running these things together. I'm gonna get this guy's already in the controller. I'm gonna get this one on the track right here, kind of look at it a little bit. You know, it's a Rail King scale, so it's not gonna have the super high-end detail of the Premier series, but I'll tell you, the sound sets on these, man, they sound great. They're a super heavy, you know, nice 6-axle, super heavy locomotive. So they pull really strong. I was pulling a pretty sizable train, just missing 4 or 5 cars that Legacy SD40 was pulling. With this guy by itself, I just put some lubrication on it and wanted to get it relubed. I haven't run this one in over a year. Been waiting for this guy. Specifically got that one to run with this guy, so I thought they would look super cool together, a 630 and a 628. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this one lubricated and get it into the controller, and then let's run them around the layout, see what they look like. Well, all right, everybody, we got the C630, the brand new one, number 3142, sitting up front. And actually, these guys sound a little bit different. Actually, I think the 628 sounds a little bit better, although I noticed the 630 has a little bit different sound set to it. So it sounds like there might be some dust or something loose on the speaker. So there's a little bit of, I don't know if it'll come through on the, camera or not, but the 628 definitely sounds a little audibly clearer, a little bit less garbled. But I got this one all lubed up, and it ran around the layout real quick one time, and it ran real nice. So let's get it fired up so you guys can hear it, and then we'll do some comparisons side by sides for those of you that have the previous PS3 run and are thinking about maybe getting one of these for your layout and one of the different road names that are available. So here's a startup. Horn. Crossing signal. Sounds nice. It just sounds like something maybe is a little loose inside that's kind of vibrating. Front coupler, rear coupler, bell. I don't have the smoke running, I don't have these things primed, but obviously Alcos always deserve to have smoke coming out of them. I just don't run smoke a whole lot. It's just so damn messy and fills the room up. I'm gonna pull this one up. And then I'm gonna turn the volume down on it to, it's still gonna be running, but I'm going to take the volume all the way down. And what I want to do is I'm going to turn the camera a little bit over here where we have our 628. I'm going to start that one up. Got a 45 tunnel motor. That's a dummy, one of the few dummies that I own, sitting behind it. So when we run them together, we'll have a little triple header. Here's the startup on this guy. Horn. Definitely sounds different, bell. Crossing signal. And I tell you that 28 sounds really nice. The coupler open and closing sounds on the 28 definitely different. The 630 has a longer sound clip. So why don't we go ahead and get these guys, pull this over here. We'll get these guys into a consist here and move them on out, huh? What do we say? there you go, guys. I tell you, it really runs great. It's great looking lash up. You know, some people don't like to say lash up. It's a great looking consist. In hindsight, I wish I would have brought one more 45 tunnel motor up here to have a have those EMD sounds, prime mover sounds running underneath. But boy, what a lot of fun! Boy, what a lot of fun! That's everything I could hope it would be. I'm gonna run it, you know, for an hour or two, see if the sound gets any better, and if it still sounds a little bit garbled, I might drop the fuel tank and just see if there's something loose inside there. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the speaker clips or something didn't get all the way tightened down. It just sounds a little bit, not sure if it's coming through on the camera, but it just sounds a little bit fuzzy, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah, this is the look I was after. I love having two of these guys. I wish there was more of these still in operation. I remember, you know, when Randy and I were little kids, when Conrail first came into existence, these big 6-axle Century units existed on Conrail until the very early 80s, and then Conrail whacked them all and sold them off for, I'm pretty much sure, sold them off for scrap in like 1980 or 81. So I did get to see a few of these in real life running, you know, on Conrail. I'm not sure if they ever painted. I do actually, I'm sorry, they did paint some of the 630s. I believe the 628s never got repainted. They got patched out, and they all came to a pretty unceremonious end on Conrail. And that's, you know, I'm not going to give Conrail a hard time over that. You know, all those railroads were basically bankrupt when Conrail was formed, so the deferred maintenance on all the locomotives they inherited was pretty brutal. So it made more sense for them just to cut bait on all these beat down locos and kind of start new. And you know, probably had a lot to do with GM's kind of, I don't want to say downfall, but you know, they had a lot of SD50s, and they were also buying a lot of new Dash 8s when the Dash 8s came out, and surely helped GE get into the role. As you know, GE basically kind of stabbed Alco in the back, because GE just decided to go ahead and start building their own locomotives. And once that partnership severed, Alco wasn't long. I think they went bankrupt in '69, ceased operations in '69. But hey, in any case, I'm gonna back this thing back out onto the main line and kind of set it at 12 scale miles an hour, so it's creeping, and I'm going to get to work doing a little bit of detailing on the layout. I really appreciate everybody stopping by and visiting with us. Really do appreciate everybody's feedback and kind words. I get a lot of nice messages from you guys out there. Gals, never gotten any messages from a gal, so I don't know if there's any women who watch the channel, but if you are female watching the channel, I sure do appreciate it. But in any case, guys, hope your August is off to a great start so far, and hope this weekend treats you well. Hey, thanks for joining us here at the Lake Erie Midwestern. Take care, everybody.